Hi friend, welcome to the live study channel. Today I am going to discuss OOPS concept, interview question and answer for experienced and fresher both. So basically OOPS means object oriented programming language. Okay. So let's start. Right? First question is what are the four main features of OOPS concept? Four concept means abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, right? Inheritance means there are four main features in OOPS concept, right? Abstraction, polymorphism, encapsulation, inheritance. Okay. So first one is abstraction, right? Abstraction means, tell me. Okay. So basically abstraction means hiding internal implementation and just highlight the setup services. What we are offering is a concept of abstraction. Means again I am repeating, hide internal implementation and just highlight the set of services. What we are offering is a concept of abstraction. So question is how to achieve abstraction. So we can achieve abstraction through the interface and abstract class. As a real-time example, bank ATM, as a car. So for example means through the bank ATM GUI screen, bank publish are highlighting the setup services, what they are offering without highlighting internal implementation, right? So basically the main advantage of abstraction means we can achieve security because we are not highlighting internal implementation. Another point is encapsulation. Encapsulation means the binding of data and the corresponding method into a single unit is nothing but encapsulation. Encapsulation means binding the data. Okay. Means we can, its best example are, suppose we are creating setter and getter method, means set the method and get the method, both are binding data, right? Suppose if any component follow the data hiding and abstraction, such type of component is said to be encapsulation. Means encapsulation is equal to data hiding plus abstraction. Then you can achieve encapsulation. Encapsulation advantage means we can achieve security, enhancement become easy, improvement of the application. The advantage can achieve security, but the main disadvantage Encapsulation means disadvantage means increase the length of code and slow down the execution. Right. Another point is inheritance and polymorphism. So polymorphism means, so basically polymorphism means one form, one name, but multiple form. Right? Means one name but multiple form. Multiple form means, suppose communication, right? So communication means communicate, right? Communicate to each other, but suppose communicate through the phone, through the message, through the SMS, through the video call, but different multiple medium. Just call what? Polymorphism, right? Means call the polymorphism. Why? Because one name and a multiple form, right? In a polymorphism means we can extend and you can access some means method. There are two types. It's overloading. Polymorphism is overloading, overriding. This concept of using. So basically, it means one name but multiple form. This concept of both concept. This one. So this one. Another one is the what? Inheritance, right? Inheritance means inherit the parent's property into child. Means we can inherit, right, parent's property into in a child through the extend keyword, right? Means the most common method used applicable for any type of child. We have to define the parent class, the specific method which are applicable for a particular child. We have to define in a child class. That's it. Right? There are multiple forms, but suppose multiple inheritance not support in a inheritance, means in a Java, right? And also cyclic inheritance is not supported, but multi-level inheritance are supported. So the question is, there may be a chance the very most important question is why Java will not provide support for multiple inheritance, right? So the answer is there may be a chance of ambiguity problem. Hence, Java will not provide support for multiple inheritance, right? But interface can extend any number of interface simultaneously. Hence, Java will support for multiple inheritance with respect to interface, not inheritance. Okay. So, why ambiguity problem? Another question is, why ambiguity problem will not be there in interface? Because even those multiple method declare available, but implementation is unique in interface. Hence, there is no chance of ambiguity problem in interface. Right? Detail I will explain in another video. So, move to the another question. Another question, what do you understand by class and object and also give a better example. So, look, means object means car, property method using, sorry, not a car, class. Object means Audi, BMW, okay, BMW, Maruti, Hyundai, okay. There is these are object, means car is class, object. So simple, you can suppose, and in a regular definition, in a class means a class is a blueprint, okay, of an object. User defined data type inside a class and define variable, constant, member functions and other functionalities. It does not consume memory at a runtime. So note that classes are not considered as a data structure. It's a logical entity. So best example of data binding. Data binding means encapsulation. Encapsulation, what is it? Data binding. So object means Audi, car, right? So an object is a real word that has attribute, behavior and properties. It is referred to as a instance of the classes. It contains member functions, variable that we have defined in the class. It consumes space in memory. Different object has different state and attribute and behavior. Right? Don't any confusion. You can don't create any confusion. Another question is, what are the limitations of OOPS concept? So there are some limitation, means required intensive testing process, solving problem take more time as a compared to producer oriented programming. The size of program created using this approach may be because larger than the program written using the procedure oriented programming approach. Software developed using this approach required a substantial amount of pre-work and planning. OOPS code is difficult to understand if you don't have the corresponding classes documentation. In certain scenarios, these programs can consume a large amount of memory. Not suitable for a small problem. Take more time to solve this problem. There are some limitations. Another question is, what is the concept of access specifier? When should we use this? Means private, protected, public, right? Within a same class, in diverse class, outside the class. So basically, access modifier are reserved keyword that is used to set the accessibility of the classes, method and other member of the classes. Means it is also known as the access modifier. It include public and private protect. So these some of other specific, that is language specific, such as Java. Another access specifier default. Access specifier play a virtual role in achieving one of the major functions of OOPS concept, either encapsulation, right? So means basically in a private only access within a class. Suppose I'm using private keyword, so only access within a class. Don't access in a other class, and outside class only use in a same class. But protected is used in the same class and derivative class, but don't use outside the class. But public is used in a class, derivative class, and also use the outside class. Another question is, what are the advantages of OOPS concept? There are some advantages: simplicity, modularities, modifiabilities, extendabilities, maintainabilities, and reusabilities. Right? So simplicity means OOPS program object model real world object so that complexity is reduced and the program structure is clear. That's it. Simplicity. So modularity means each object forms a separate entity whose internal working is decoupled from other part of the system. But modifiability, easy to make minor changes in data presentation or the procedure in OOPS program. Change inside a class do not affect any other part of the program, since the only public interface that the internal word has to a class is through the use of the method. Extensibility means adding a new feature or responding to changing operating environment can be solved by introducing a few new objects and modifying some existing ones. Maintainability means object can be maintained separately, making locating and fixing problem easier. Reusability means object can be reused in different programs. Right? Move to the another question. Another question is, what are the manipulator in OOPS and how it's work? Manipulators are helping function. It is used to manipulate and modify the input or output stream. The modification is possible by using the insertion and extraction operators. Note that the modification of input and output stream does not mean to change the value of variable. There are two types of manipulator, with argument or without argument. Means first one argument and then without argument. For example of manipulator that do not have argument is indel, vs, false, false, etc. Manipulator with the argument are set w value, selfish, set base value, scenario flag. Some other manipulator are show, pose, fix, scientific, hexa, decile, oct, etc. Another question is, what are the difference between the constructor and the method in Java? Constructor means construction has the same name as the same. Constructor means the construction has the same name as the same class name. But method is the method name and class name are not same. But constructor is the same. Another difference is It is a special type of method that is used to initialize an object of class. But in a method, it is set up the instruction that can be involved at any point in a program. It creates an instance of the class, means it is used to execute Java code. Another difference is it is involved implicitly when we create an object of the class, but in a method it gets executed when we explicitly call it. Another difference is it cannot be inherited by the subclass, but in a method we can inherit by the subclass. Another difference is it does not have any return type, but in a must return type method. It cannot be overridden in Java, but it can be overridden in a Java. Does not declare as a static construction. We cannot declare static in a constructor, but we can declare a static in a method. Java compiler automatically provides a default constructor, but Java compiler does not provide any method default. Another question is, what is the difference between abstraction and encapsulation? So actually I have already explained, okay, abstraction and encapsulation. So just I'm discuss little bit. Means abstraction means hide internal implementation. I just highlighting the setup services what we are offering. It's concept of abstraction, right? Encapsulation means the process of binding data. Okay, the process of binding data corresponding method. The process of binding data and the corresponding method is a concept of encapsulation. The process of binding data also corresponding method is a encapsulation. Means the program in this program interface so check it and just move it, right? But abstraction implement in Java using the interface and abstract class, we can achieve, right? Label of modifier, protected modifier, this one. Another question is, why Java does not support multiple interface? Actually, I have already told you, right? Why? Because of design long simply multiple inheritance introduce the complexity, like diamond problem, means ambiguity problem. Inheriting the state or behavior from the two different type of classes is same with the reality very rare. It can achieve through the interface, means interface. Another question is it possible for a class to inherit the constructor of its base class? No. A class cannot inherit the constructor of its base class. We cannot. And that's why is the meaning of EJ and HJ relationship. EJ relationship implify inheritance, and a subclass object is said to be EJ relationship with the superclass or interface. If class A extends to B, then A is a of B, E is A, B. It is transitive, that is, if class A extends B and class B extends C, then A is C. The instance of operator in Java define the EJ relationship. When a class A has a member of reference variable of type B, then A has a relationship. It is also known as the aggregation, composition and aggregation, right? Another question is, what is dependency? So when one class depends on another because it used at some point in time, when this relationship is known as dependency. One class depends on another if the independent class is a parameter variable or local variable of a method of the depend class. A dependency is thrown as a dotted line from the dependent class to the independent class with an open arrowhead pointing to the independent class. Another question is, what is the difference between association and dependencies? Two major difference between association and dependency. Dependency is case of the association, one class has an attribute or member variable of the another class type, but in a case of dependency, the method take a argument of the another class type, or method has a local variable or another type class. Another question is, explain, is Java pure object-oriented language? No, Java is not an entirely pure object-oriented programming language. Why? Because Java support and use preemptive data type such as int means integer, float, double, character. So preemptive data type are stored as a variable or on the stack instance of the heap. In Java, static method can access the static variable without using an object, contrary to object-oriented concept. Another question is, why is need for object-oriented programming language? The very nice question. OOPs provide access specifier and data hiding feature for more security and control. Data access overloading can be achieved. So overloading means, what is overloading? Overloading means method name is same but different type of argument. In overloading case means, suppose I am writing one method name is display, so another method I am using, another method is the same display. You can access, but we cannot just the same argument type in this method, called the overloading. So can achieve with the function and operate overloading code. Reuse is possible as already created object in one program can be used in other program. So data redundancy, code maintenance, data security, advantage of concept such encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, and inheritance in object-oriented programming provide an advantage over the previous student. I have already discussed it. So another question is, how the polymorphism work in Java real-time explanation. Right? Polymorphism means ability to have multiple forms, capability of method to do different things. Means one name and the different forms. In the real time, the same person performing different duties, behavior differently. Means in office he is an employee. Real time employee means person. I am a student, I am a teacher, I am a developer. But who I am means I am man. Another example is communication. Communicate to each other. It's a one name means communication, but communicate to different form, like through the telephone, through the message, through the video call, through the chat. Right? So polymorphism, there are two types: compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism means overloading concept, and runtime polymorphism means overriding concept. So overloading means method name same, different type of argument. In a runtime polymorphism means method name is same and also argument is also same. Means method name is same and argument type also same. Another question is, what is interface? Okay, interface is similar to the class, where it can have method and variable, but its method do not have a body, just a signature known as the abstract method. Variable declared in the interface can have public, static, final. By default, interface is used in Java for abstraction and multiple inheritance, where the class can implement multiple interfaces. Another question is, what is the difference between extend and implement keyword? So both extend and implement keyword are used for inheritance, but in a different way. Another question is, explain the difference between abstract, class and method. So object cannot be created from the abstract class. Abstract method has a signature but does not have a body. Subclass create or inherit abstract class to access the member of abstract class, but in a compulsory to override abstract method of superclass in their subclass. Abstract class can contain abstract method or non-abstract method, but in abstract method class contain abstract method should be made abstract class. Another question is, what is constructor in Java? Actually, constructor is the method without return type, and it has its name the same as the class name. When we create an object, a default constructor allocates memory for an object during the compilation of Java code. Constructors are used to initializing object and set the initial value for object attribute. Thank you for